Hello there, all my YouTube people. I hope it's not a problem with the audio or anything, but I'm just going without my headset today. I have a little bit of a, not great migraine, kind of neck related migraine going on that I've kind of tried to hot shower away, and I'm finally starting to kind of feel a little bit better, but man. So, I know it's been a while. I got the warehouse temp job that I was talking about kind of around mid November, I suppose. And that assignment has ended. It ended, look at the calendar here. It ended on, I believe, the 11th. Or the 18th. Yeah, I think it was around the 11th. I'd have to look. Let me look in here. Let me see. Actually, now that I think about it, have my email open so I can actually kind of look at when that went down. It is before the 13th, so yeah, it was the 11th. Yeah, so it ended the 11th. I just have really been trying to find something else since then. And actually, in all reality, if I'm honest, I saw, being that this is my third temp assignment with this agency, I saw the writing on the wall as soon as I started working this particular job. As soon as I started working this particular job, a number of things became very clear from right away. But let me go ahead and just give everybody working the temp scene a little bit of advice here. And this is my third temp assignment in less than 3 years, in like the last like 18 months or something like that. So this is something that I have some experience in now. Very few people go permanent quickly. So there's that. Like if a company just starts up and they're using like Adecco or Abacus or whatever to do their hiring, don't assume that you're going to go permanent. Usually, a company will bring people from other locations from the country to the new one anyway. So really, most of the people are concerned about having around permanent. They already do. And certainly, if you're working at a place that's been using temps for a couple of years, I mean, you're just there to help clear out the trouble, and then you're going to be gone. Now, I'm not saying no one out. I have witnessed a couple of people get kept out of training classes, but keep in mind, training classes are not small. Okay, so they're usually only going to keep one or two people out of a training class, and they're going to be the people who can sort like a cash counter or whatever you're doing. This temp assignment simply ended because of a lack of workflow. But like I said, that was apparent really from day one. Companies these days, rather than actually having anybody standing around for any period of time, would almost rather have work waiting. So if you're in a situation where you've been hired because they need help like getting through the busy time of the year, and you're even standing around some during that busy time of the year, you're not going to be sticking around. Unless you're like a stellar, like, meet every metric kind of employee, or you have a really good in somewhere. One thing that really kind of bothered me about this place, this was warehouse work, and it was with a luxury yoga clothing company, not Lululemon. That really, there's only one other. Okay, that really should narrow it down before without me having to say it. And the politics of this place just became so evident, like right away. Um, and they weren't they were kind of icky. Um, I just didn't have a good feeling about holding on to this position anywhere past their peak season. I felt even more nervous when peak didn't last as long as they said it was going to last. They said it was going to last like 12 days, like into the first couple days of December. And it only ended up lasting 8 or 9, kind of depending on, you know, what day it worked out to be for you. So they just didn't sell like they thought they were going to anyway. And I kept telling people after that, like, we're gonna start just steadily disappearing. Another thing I noticed about temp work is that they almost always say that they're not going to do a third round of layoffs, and they almost always inevitably do a third round of layoffs, and that third round of layoffs is really scraping the bottom of the barrel. That is going to be people like me who are older, who just are not at the top of the numbers list. I just cannot bust my ass like I used to. The ability to move quickly like I used to without making mistakes is just not a reality anymore. Then right before because I actually was doing fairly consistent work. I got praised for my consistent work. What I tend to hear when somebody says that to me is not fast enough. You're working very steadily, but not fast enough. Uh, and they never really came up with a metric as to what they wanted us to, because I was in inventory replenishment. I have a lot of experience with that from my retail career. So the inventory replenishment kind of side of things was what I was doing, and I don't know. I just the writing was so on the wall. The right like, and then you have a lot of people doing their first temp assignment, right? So they think, oh, when peak's over, we're going to go permanent. And like I was saying at the beginning of the video, that's not how it works. You generally, no one has gone permanent in any of my other assignments in less than 18 months. Sometimes it's 2 years or more, or never. Because the ideal thing is to keep you temp. That's cheaper and easier for everybody around. You're easier to fire as a temp. You don't get unemployment as a temp. You don't you don't make as much money as a permanent employee. The other issue with these temp jobs is they are all like super far away. I'm having to drive anywhere from like 37 minutes to 45 minutes to work, usually in like evening rush hour traffic, right? And then another, anywhere from 27 to 35 minutes to come home at the end of my shift. That is given a lot of extra time. By the time I get to work from my commute, I'm already exhausted. I mean, I know that you might think I'm exaggerating, but like not really. Like just getting to work is like just the amount of lane changes and just bumper to bumper traffic and slowdowns, and just it's absolutely exhausting. Um, Now, the schedule at this job was both cool and kind of uh, like I liked it, but at the same time, so it was 12-hour shifts. You were there from my shift was 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. Okay, you get paid for 11 and a half hours. All right, so you get paid for 161 hours a month because one week you work three 12-hour days, the next week you work four, and it rotates like that. So three on, four off, four on, three off, and then um, but 12-hour shifts are they're tough, especially when like the people in charge of you are saying that like you can't sit down and stuff like that. Um, I really love like being told that I can't sit down by my supervisor, whom I'm old enough to be his dad, and he gets to sit down his entire shift. You know, it's just stuff like that. The politics of this place. Um, Also, as cool as that shift might sound to some people, um, the days that you are working, you are absolutely just dedicated to work. You have very little time at home. You basically kind of go home, you eat a little something, say hello to your pets, and go to bed. And like basically the 3 or 4 days of the week you're working, you're absolutely dedicated to work. There's no time for anything else on a 12-hour shift. Um, and then when you do get your days off, if you're kind of on a 12-hour graveyard schedule, it's very hard to transition and be up during the day. So it's very hard to get up and kind of do errands and stuff on your day off, even though that's really what you should be doing. Um, it's also very difficult just to like again you're saying, oh man, that's 3 or 4 days off, but you are literally going to sleep one of those days away, just almost completely. You might sleep it in little pieces. There'll be so little of it left to do anything with that you may as well write it off, and you're probably going to sleep heavy through another day as well. So really, when you get down to it, you're only getting, you know, you're really only getting a couple days off anyway. It's like there's no real difference. Um, and I tend to agree with the company to a certain extent. I mean, if you're standing around at work, waiting on work, then you have too many employees. So I kept trying to tell the people I work with what they want is like 3 or 4 orders sitting around at all times. Okay? And for us to start working the oldest one. Okay? Because that 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 ensures that like we're busy constantly, which literally means they want you on the move literally like 10 hours a day, outside of your breaks and lunch. You know, the pickers at this place had to pick 100 picks a minute, dude, a minute. um but yeah, like I said, the day I walked into this place, I was like, I'm going to start watching people disappear in 2 weeks. And that's exactly what started happening. Even good employees. See, that's the crazy thing is like, they'll get rid of like really good employees over stuff like tardies or whatever. Um, or they'll just like get it in their head that they have to get rid of a certain amount of employees, and they'll get rid of say half of packing, and now like packing's just completely backed up. Um, Now, all of that being said, I mostly did enjoy the work. It was very kind of self-contained. You didn't have somebody looking for you all day. Um, I really think that they should have just put us all on 10-hour shifts 4 days a week, with a couple alternating schedules, and then the AB thing they were doing, the front back half thing. I really think that I would have been a lot happier at that. And I mean, really, even a 10-hour shift for what we were, for the workload we had going on, was probably too long. Um, but, uh, it is what it is. And despite me never, like I said, I've been looking for stuff since I got hired there. Despite like having been applying for jobs and stuff this whole time, nothing's really come along. So it's like nothing comes along until I'm out of work again or whatever. I am really trying to find something a little bit more permanent, something a little bit more, close to home. The the long commutes and it's like really frustrating because when you're temp assigned, I don't know if any of you who watch my channel have worked temp jobs before, but like they can also tell in the comments to other people watching, when your temp assignment's over, it's over. Like, check your email before you go to work is what I usually tell people, because they will literally just send you an email that's like, goodbye, we don't need you, thanks for the help, don't come back. So anyway, that's kind of where I am with it. I am currently on a little bit of a house sitting thing, and then you know, we'll hopefully be starting something else soon. I'm applying for stuff left and right. I'm actually considering going back into the retail store that I worked at, just because there are a few like near me, and I know how to do the work, and it is a relatively easy company to get time off with and everything like that if you ask right. So I am considering that, but man, I I wouldn't necessarily mind like working another temp assignment, but you know, I really think they need to, because they really upset a lot of people at this place. Like, I think a lot of people just left because the way it was worded, they were expecting to all go permanent after peak and stuff like that. And it just, the goal is to never make you permanent. Anyway, there's an update. I'll probably release a couple of more videos or something like that during the house sitting assignment I have here. Thanks for paying attention if you did and staying for the whole video. Goemonronin signing out.